In davening we say every day, Va'olu Moshiach Bahar Tzion, Lishboit Es HaResav. It's the end of Oz Yosher. Va'olu Moshiach, the Moshiach, the ones that were saved, will go up Bahar Tzion, in the mountain of Tzion, Lishboit, to judge as Har Esav, the mountain of Esav. V'hoisal Hashem Amlucha, and to Hashem will be the kingdom. That means the process of Mashiach is those that are saved will go up to the mountain of Tzion, and from the mountain of Tzion they're going to judge the mountain of Esav, and then God is going to be king over the whole world. So I have a simple question. If we're going to judge the mountain of Esav, Esav is living in Seir. So why are you going Va'olu Mashiach Bahar Tzion? Why are we going up Lahar Tzion, Lishboit Es HaResav? It should say Va'olu Mashiach Bahar Esav, Lishboit Es HaResav, or Va'olu Mashiach Bahar Seir. Let the Mashiach go up on Mount Seir, Lishboit Es Har Seir, or Es Har Esav, because Esav is in Seir, not on Har Tzion. If anything, the Arabs are on Har Tzion. Va'olu Mashiach Bahar Tzion, Lishboit Es Yishmael, Es Har whatever. What does Esav have to do? So the Frierdiker Rebbe sits down on George Washington's chair, and he does what he gives and he benches America. Fine. Now let's stop for one moment. Before the Frierdiker Rebbe came, he notified in America that they invited him. It took a few months to prepare for the trip. The Frierdiker Rebbe during that time went to Eretz Yisrael. Again, he wants to come to America. He organizes a trip to America, but it doesn't happen immediately. It's delayed for a few months. Meanwhile, for the first time in Chabad history, one of our Chabad Rabbeim traveled to Eretz Yisrael. Why did the Frierdiker Rebbe go to Eretz Yisrael? So people would think, why not? Where then? Till then, the Rabbeim didn't. The Alter Rebbe wanted to go to Eretz Yisrael so badly with the Mendele Frierdiker, then right after it didn't work. Now there's an opportunity. Anyway, can't be in Russia. Go to Eretz Yisrael. Frierdiker Rebbe says, no, he's not going to Eretz Yisrael because of the importance of going to Eretz Yisrael. He simply wants to daven by Kivrei Avis. He wants to go to the Oyalim. He wants to go to the oil of the Rabbeim, to the Alter Rebbe in Hadish, to the Mittler Rebbe in Yezhin, and to the Rabbeim in Lubavitch. He can't go to the oil because the Frierdiker Rebbe couldn't go into Russia. He couldn't go there. So because he can't daven by Kivrei Avis, he went to the Avis. He went to Chevron, to Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. He went to Ma'arsam. He went to Reb Shimon Bar Yochai and Maron. And he went to all the tzaddikim in Eretz Yisrael as going to daven. So I'm wondering, comes out that his whole but why is he suddenly davening now? Why suddenly now the Frierdiker Rebbe has to go daven? You would expect that if he had to go daven, he should have gone before 1927, when he was fighting the Bolsheviks, before he was arrested. That's when he needed Rachmi Shamayim, and we know that Rebbeim knew what was happening. He can sense already the pressure. You say he didn't have time. If he needed to go, if this is Sakanas Nefashis, let him go earlier to the Rebbeim. No, he doesn't go then. Now he has to go. Why does he have to go now? So again, this is only Das Tachten, this is my own thoughts. A new Avodah is about to begin. We need to now come to phase 2 of the exile, which is really cleaning up right before Mashiach comes. We have to rectify America. And through America, we're going to rectify the entire world. So the Frierdiker Rebbe goes to fill himself up with koiches so that he can come to America and conquer America, and through America, the entire world. The Olu Moshiach Bahar Tzion. Hear the pasuk. The Olu Moshiach, those that were saved. Who are those that are saved? Who was saved? The Frierdiker Rebbe was saved from who? From Esav. Esav, in all of his brutality, wanted to choke Chas v'Shalom, the Frierdiker Rebbe. They had him in Kastrama. They had him there. They wanted to. They had him in Shpalerka. They wanted to Chas v'Shalom destroy him. The Olu Moshiach, the Frierdiker Rebbe, went up. Where does he go first? He goes up Bahar Tzion. He goes to Eretz Yisrael. But what's the kavanah of going to Eretz Yisrael? Lishboit, in order to judge what? The mountain of Esav. What's the mountain of Esav? The mountain of Esav is elevated Esav. What's elevated elevated in all of history. Where is Esav in its most elevated state? Esav in its most elevated state is America. America are Gentiles from European descendants. These are the grandchildren of Esav. But yet Esav, as a Medina of chesed, of kindness, Esav, as he's been refined, as the Frierdiker Rebbe is speaking about the greatness of the United States, how the Rebbe, that's called the mountain of Esav. And may I remind you another Nakuda, which I heard today from Shai Eichenblatt when I told him this thing. He said America is called, and politicians always used it, the city on the hill. Har Esav. Why? It was used by John F. Kennedy to speak about how America is supposed to be a light onto the nations because it's a city on the hill. Har Esav. The mountain of Esav. It's an elevated place. Mountain is also means chesed. Avram is called Har, mountain. So the Frierdiker Rebbe went to where? The Alu Maishim, those that were saved, went from where? He went up Lahar Tzion with the kavanah of what? Lishboit, to judge. What's judging? The Alter Rebbe says judging means we have a nefesh l'kis and a nefesh l'bahamas, and judging means to give us direction, to give us inspiration. The nefesh l'kis judges us. The Frierdiker Rebbe is going to give inspiration to Esav. The Rebbe is going to give inspiration to Esav and complete the work in Esav. What does the Frierdiker Rebbe Dafke do? Sits down on George Washington's chair and blesses America and makes a declaration. And he says as follows. Here is declaration. He says, a nation if freedom is based on faith and on religion, that is the true freedom. Very beautiful, unbelievable pasuk. I think it's referring to the Frierdiker Rebbe. I'm almost sure this is what the pasuk is saying. This is the Rebbe who completes the Zayim Mitzvahs B'nai Noach, completes rectifying the world, Gevaldig. But where are we holding? Where are we holding? So let me just conclude one interesting thing. I heard a speech, again through WhatsApp, but this one came to me from my father. And again, as I mentioned, what was the speech? President Trump gave a speech 3 days ago on 4th of July. And on that day, he's speaking in America and he's saying, we love our country, we love our people, we love our freedom, and we love our God. Then he continues to talk that from the time of the declaration of the independence, it has been clear that our rights come to us from our Creator. And no earthly force can take away those rights that are given to us from our Creator. And he goes on for a half an hour. And he doesn't stop mentioning God and the Eibishter and giving us and all our rights and everything and freedom and the like. I didn't listen to the whole half an hour. But my father told me, you got to listen to the rest. I didn't listen. Just that itself. And he doesn't stop. And here is where I would like to share something with you, because I think people are not getting it. We're not watching the Geula unfolding in front of our eyes. Unbelievable. This country over here that the Rebbe spoke so much about, the Rebbe always spoke about this is a Malchus of Chesed, and that the people that came here, the immigrants, came here because freedom to practice religion, not a freedom from religion. This country was hijacked a couple of years ago. And in the previous administration, there was a powerful movement of someone who believed that he is Mashiach to the world, but Mashiach without the Eibishter. It was driving a global movement. And that global movement, because why Dafka now? Again, these are only my thoughts, Das Tachten. But the Rebbe told us to open up our eyes and to see something. It's clear to me that interesting, before Mashiach comes, and there's going to be peace in the entire world, Klipa Koidma Leperi, so Klipa comes and tries to create an imitation of Mashiach before. In other words, we don't need the real Mashiach, we can do it on our own. So nations are going to live in peace and in harmony. We're all global movement. There was this tremendous global movement happening in the world. But let's understand something. At the root of this movement was a war against four things. First of all, it was based on the three averis that a person has to give his life for. It was fighting, and part of its primary agenda was the total destruction of marriage in this world. And where there's no sanctity to marriage at all, you can marry a chicken, a cow, or whatever you like. Even a tomato. There is absolutely whatever you want. You don't even have to be. You can be whatever you want. You don't even know. You get so confused. I'm telling you, if you get a little old and you don't even know who you are when you're trying to go into a bathroom. I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm somewhere in between. They've been here. And this is culture, and this is sophistication, and this is refinement, and this is Mashiach world, the Rebbe Shalom. This is mamish, and this is taught to little children in kindergarten. This is a war. The Gemara says in Masechtas Ksubas, the Gemara says that even though nations of the world are chashud for certain things, but they don't write en kaizik ksuba l'zachar. They don't when they marry a man with a man, they don't write ksuba, which means they don't go under a chuppah. And that's their merit to be alive. The merit that the nations of the world have, ein kaizik ksuba. They don't write a ksuba. They won't make it holy. They won't turn it into legitimate. And if you have belief, and you don't want to bake a cake for that wedding, we are going to arrest you. We're going to close down your business. This is a war. This is Mamish creating the biggest corruption in the world. Then comes total disregard to human life. You can butcher as many babies as you want unborn according to halacha. These children have halacha. And this is according to Shavin and he's chayav misa for this. And abortion is totally permitted because it's a woman's right to choose. Shvichas dam is the second Indian. Third Indian. What's the story with global warming? And I'm not... I saw from the Frierdiker Rebbe. The Frierdiker Rebbe says that one time the Rebbe Rashab was sitting and was weeping during davening, crying. The Razah, the Rebbe's brother, said, "Was veinter?" He said it, I think, to the Frierdiker Rebbe. What is he crying? Let me tell you what he's crying. The Rebbe Rashab never ever killed a fly. He never killed. You know the famous story where he chastised the Frierdiker Rebbe for pulling a leaf off and ruining it. The Rebbe Rashab didn't kill anything. If anything, he blew something away. Maybe by accident, he killed a little ant, and for that the Rebbe is weeping. The Rebbe Rashab is weeping. That's what the Rebbe's brother said. Rebbe Zalman Aaron said about the Rebbe Rashab. Chassidus teaches us respect and being bal tashchis, especially when you know that the... So the idea of being careful not to destroy the world is probably a good thing and a thing that humans should be sensitive of. In many ways, you can say it's Mashiachtig, the sensitivity to the world and to the like. Good zach. But let's for one moment make a little... Why was it so much in the agenda of this whole previous administration drive? Why was it at the root of the agenda? Now he'll remind us. Let's rewind a little bit in time. Let's rewind a little bit. Right after the Mabul, there was the people in the world, a global movement, Paris Accord, for the entire world. What was it called? The Paris Accord, in which they all got together and decided to build a tower. Why? So Rashi says, they said once every 1600 years the sky collapses. So we have to build something to hold up the sky. In other words, there's no Eibishter. You see, the Eibishter brought a Mabul, and that's why it collapsed. But there is no God. We men are going to deal with the future of the world. It's a denial in the Eibishter. How do you know that this is really what it's all about? Is because when it comes to the deepest Nakuda, that global movement that's in all the colleges and in all across the world, in Europe especially, but in America as well, and filled in the American media as well, its main objective and Nakuda Pnimis was to fight against the Yishuv of Yidden in Eretz Yisrael, against Shleimus Haaretz, and to force with a full sense of sensitivity. And I read Chumash this week, when Balak took Bilam up to a place. Where did he bring him first? He brought him to a mountain, and he said he brought him to a Kiryas Chutzais. Rashi says it's a place full of markets where hundreds of people, and he said, you see these women and children? Let's have mercy for these women and children. A lie! The Jewish people weren't doing anything to Moab. They weren't coming to harm their women and their children. Babemaisis. But Balak is already doing this propaganda and telling Bilam, don't harm the Jewish people. Want to kill women and children, baby killers. And don't you hear that? So created in the world such a klipa as if the Jewish, as if the tzahal, the Jewish, so sensitive are the people that are out to kill and to murder children and the like. And the most important thing is anything to keep a two-state solution. That became mamish aseres adibris, anoichi v'lo yirecha. The most important precept in the world is a two-state solution. Why? Because the one thing you don't want, if you're the Mashiach Sheker, if you're the force to hold back Mashiach, the one thing you don't want is the Eibishter to come down on that mountain and the third base Hamikdash to be rebuilt, because that's going to destroy all the klipa. So by hook and by crook, we're going to stop that. What was the last action the previous administration did? The last action the previous administration did was to legitimize that in the UN, to allow that Mamzeres, whoever she was in the UN, to actually go ahead and abstain, and then it would have led, then it was next was the 70 nations gathering in Paris again, to do what? To condemn Israel, and to come up with the two-state solution. So you see the klipa is there and all of its grobkai, taking away, and a war against religion, that's what it really was, or war against people of faith, is geshen something this year that is unbelievable, unheard of. The entire country's minds are still spinning. They don't know why and how and where this could have happened. Suddenly, a candidate who had absolutely no reason to win, no ability to win, not a politician, someone totally an outsider, is gekommen, and suddenly he became president and no one knows how. It is such a crazy thing. And was er geworden? And Dafkin in the Yonim of the Rebbe, Dafkin in Shleimus, okay, not perfect yet, because we're lacking in our confidence, so he's a little wobbly, but Dafkin in all these aspects, he's standing and fighting. And not only that, he's crushing and breaking the monstrous lie. He made it his Inyan to destroy this power that has thumped people's heads with lies for all these years. You realize evil doesn't start when terrorists are stabbing people. It starts when you legitimize all of that and you create that people who defend innocent life are murderers. When you take evil and you make it whatever, that's where it begins. So the media is actually the culprit, and he's breaking it. And who did it? Who did this? Who put President Trump in power? Doesn't make any sense what happened. But the interesting thing is, it's clear, 2 days before the election, his daughter, his son-in-law, went to the Rebbe. It was videoed, publicized in the entire world, davened openly, and it was there for the winning, for that he should win the election. Just like 2-3 years ago, the racing horse who won the Triple Crown, the jockey went to the Rebbe, and he davened, the Goyish jockey went to the Rebbe, and he won the Triple Crown. So they went there and they davened and they won. And then hat sich gemacht a modna meise, but hear this. They're trying, Apiteva doesn't make any sense. So you realize someone must have meddled in the elections. Who meddled in the elections? Back and forth, they still don't know what to do. And they came up with an amazing hamtzah. The Russians meddled in the elections. The Russians are the ones who did it because Apiteva. And they're absolutely right. The Russians are the Frierdiker Rebbe and the Rebbe who came over here and said, you are not going to take this country and the whole world with it and chas v'shalom bury us in a place of klipa. V'hoya Hashem l'melech al kol haaretz, I'm going to put my man in there. And interesting, he's there, and again, it's nothing about him, because he's not Roel Malchus at all. It's the Rebbe through him. Unbelievable. So when we look at the last 23 years, and we're looking at all this time, and we're correcting, and we're saying, those then, we have to realize that the Malchus of Mashiach is taking place in front of our eyes. Even though, with all the it's happening. It's B'poyel Mamish happening. And we have to just open our eyes and realize there's great godly things taking place. But it involves a deep avodah on our part. I hope I can, if I bring a little more, to hopefully share with you what I think the deep avodah is for all of us. But this at least gives us a little bit perspective and understanding the great geula of Yud Beis and Yud Gimel Tammuz. How this is the story of everything. The story of the world, the story of all that's going on right now, not way back then. L'chaim, l'chaim, l'chaim. We should be chassidim, and we should merit the isgalus of Mashiach Tzidkenu. Take it from Yad Mamish now.